Can you all hear me? Yes. So I really would love a lot of interaction from you today. I want to more or less have a conversation with you rather than talk at you. Just by a show of hands, do we have agencies in the room? Okay, and brands? Okay, this is good. Okay, so my name's Lydia Amoah. The introduction's already gone ahead, so let's go straight forward and into why I did this research. Today I wanted to share with you some findings about the Black Pound report, which looks into multicultural audiences, because I just felt that through all the years of coaching and working with lots of different businesses and brands, that there needed to be more representation, really. And just to your point, it's true that when you don't want, it's not so much about the brand, it's also about the story. And growing up, I remember thinking, when I watch telly, I just don't really see so much of myself on the screen. And that can have, if you're not a confident, strong person, that can have real psychological effects on an individual, because there goes the saying, if you see it, you can believe it, and then you can become it. Would you agree? Yeah? Okay, thank you. So, in London, we have 8.8 million people that live in London alone. Did you know that? It's a really beautiful, multicultural city, I would agree with you. And of that, 41% are Black and minority backgrounds. So if you think about it, that's pretty key. And I go into a lot of agencies and I talk to them about what's happening with your agency, who's your audience, who do you want to speak to? And obviously you want to speak to human beings, correct? You want to tap into people's minds. Basically, you want to speak to me. And you want to speak to you. You want to speak to everybody in this room. That's really, really vital. Sorry. So with the Black Pound report, there was a documentary that I did. We interviewed lots of different people. And this is just some of the feedback of what different people from different backgrounds said about brands and agencies. And they don't really know that it's agencies, really. They just look at it. This is the brands making these decisions. So you can read it for yourself. There's a lot to celebrate. We simply don't want to be tick box exercise, because people know when it's a tick box exercise. And I'm not talking at you, I promise you. I know I'm standing here really like firm, probably sound like a school teacher telling you off. I'm not. I just want to let you know from the research that I did, this is the real feedback that people have given. And you can use this for your benefit to reach the audiences. So when it came to about being a consumer, I mean, I've had an experience where I've walked into the shop and I've just had a bodyguard. I'm like, this is great. Obviously, it's not a bodyguard, because, they're walking with me just to assess, am I actually going to put something in my bag? Yes, I will do after I've bought it. So that's not really the best customer experience. That's not the best customer experience. And I know that Asif won't mind me telling this story. Asif, he works at the Telegraph, and before he got into working in diversity, he was a police officer, and he worked for the Met Police. And he said he went into Gucci at the weekend with his children, just wearing a tracksuit, and his wife said, "Go out and buy me a Gucci handbag." So he walked into Gucci, and I don't know if any of you represent Gucci, and if you do, but they were literally, do you? Oh dear. Okay. But they walked in, and he said he was followed from the moment that he walked into the store and with his children. And when it came to looking at the bags, he asked us, what colours are the bags, do they come in? And they just said, look, it's this particular price. He said, I didn't actually answer the price. I just want to know, does this bag show up in pink? And then, they showed him the pink bag, he bought it, and all of a sudden, it was too late to do damage control, crisis management, too late, forget about it, And he bought the item, yes he did, because his wife would have killed him, but at the end of the day, that's just not the best customer experience. So there's no surprise when you hear that 70% of people from Black, Asian and minority backgrounds do not feel completely satisfied with the consumer experience. So we're talking when it comes to going on holidays, when it comes to, walking into a shop, all of this. And so I just think actually, as alarming as these figures are, it's actually something you can do something about this if you desire. Do you? Yes. Yeah? Okay, that's great to hear. So I don't know if many of you saw this one last year. Did you see this? Because this year, now it's Black History Month in America. So this shoe was launched around that time. And Katy Perry says, I was so saddened. It was brought to my attention. It was being compared to painful images. The the gollywog, basically. It's not a very nice word to even say it, but basically, it's this really what the shoe represents. So you just think, who was at the table? So you know this talk is about the cost of not having inclusivity, having loads of different people at the table. I mean, who walks into work and says, I can't wait to be left out today? I really can't wait to be gaslighted at the table. It's a wonderful experience. No, everybody wants their voice to be heard, whoever you are, wherever you're from. Everybody's got ideas. And I know the advertising industry has got some big, big personalities, but there's also some people that are really introvert and quiet that have got amazing ideas to bring to the table. So this isn't just a story about ethnicity, although that is a big area of my focus. It's about including all people at the table. I don't like being ignored, and I'm sure you don't really either. You don't look like you like being ignored either. So, here we go. And then Nivea. Does anyone work with Nivea here? Come on, don't be embarrassed. Okay, so this is what Nivea did. I mean, if I was in the room with Nivea, if I was at the creative agency, I would have said, do you know what? That's not a really good idea. A black man kicking his head off, number one, is not a good thing. Don't do it. But also, you're saying his hair is ridiculous. But if he uses your product, it's amazing. It's not, and there's so many messages in there. Can you see why that advert didn't work? Can you? Yeah. Who was at the table? Oh my gosh, it's really sad. But then this is a comment, that's the thing. You don't have to have these things. Because it gets to a point where people are thinking, okay, is this just for actually getting audience engagement? Maybe make a big, massive mistake, lose loads of money just to get attention because, all news is news, right? But this is just ridiculous. So, again, it's not to be putting people down or making you feel terrible. It's just giving you examples of have more people at the table. Then this one. Did everybody in the room see this one? Yes, I'm probably showing you a lot of things that you've already seen before. Again, this was launched at Black History Month again. I just wanted to see what would happen this year. I was eagerly looking for the newspapers, on my Google alerts, brand mess-ups, brand cultural mess-ups. But yeah, and this is how much it sold for, £688. I mean, oh my gosh. And it still stayed on the market. It still remained on the market. So, 66% have said, look, representation on television. I must say it is changing. It's not all terrible, but it's a gradual story. You just want to see more and more. And every time you speak, I was like, yes, I love that. It's about the experience. You want to see yourself in it because when you do, you become more invested. You thought, okay, I really relate to that story. So again, this is the black, Asian, minority audience is worth 300 billion, but I would estimate it now at 500 billion because that last research that was done was back in 2012. We're in 2020 now, and the population in the United Kingdom is just growing exponentially, So if you think about that, that's disposable income. Wouldn't you agree that's quite a lot of money? Quite a lot of cash. Quite a lot of cash. That's me doing my television bit, and it's, Anyway, I tell you what, when I had the opportunity just to prepare 3 shows, one was on racism in sports, because I'm a patron for Show Racism, the Red Card. And today, if you look at the Daily Telegraph, you'll see Paul Canaville, double page spread in the Daily Telegraph. Really proud of that. Little plug for him there. But that story for Paul Canaville happened in 1983. He was Chelsea's first ever black football player, and he walked out onto the pitch, and unfortunately, his own fans were spitting on him, throwing bananas at him, all of that. And that was from his fans. It was a terrible story. But I'm just happy for him. All these years later, he's been able to share his story in such a way that it informs so people can make better decisions because it's all part of the story. Okay. So this is, again, so you saw the photograph of me in the beginning, right? Blonde hair. And you see this hairstyle now. Next week it's a new one, because I'm launching a new program, so I need a new hairstyle. We spend so much money on our hair. It is ridiculous. I mean, my accountant, when he was going through my records, said, Okay, Lydia, I'm just looking at everything here, and you actually spend £750 on your hair a year, and that's just wash and blow dry, okay? That's not weave on, all the other hairstyles that we do, because it's part of our culture. We spend so much money. You know, you walked along the high street in Brixton, where I often go, 1 o'clock in the morning, the hairdressers are open. It's a lifestyle. You can get counselling at the hairdressers. Women, do you feel me? Come on, put your hands up. Exactly. You know, you're not just going there to get your hair done. It's a culture. And you have to understand your audiences. Your audience really want you to... we just want you to relate to us. That's all it is. We want you to sit down with us, have a conversation. We want you to then stand up with us, keep the conversation going, and then we want you to walk with us. Does that make sense? You need to sit down with us, stand up with us, and walk with us. And that way... Listen, we all make mistakes, that's fine, but to make it continuous and really expensive mistakes at the cost of losing your audiences, 52% of audiences have said that basically if they're not seeing their brands, if they can't see themselves, you know, in the message, they will basically leave your brand. You know, they will no longer invest in you. I mean, I think 15, 20 odd years ago, there used to be so much, I have to have my Gucci, I have to have my Louis Vuittons. It was all like, but the audience, they're more intelligent now, they're more in tune. They really are. So those days are gone. Those days are gone. So did you know that the beauty industry is worth 5.2 billion? Were you aware of that? And 80% of, so 4.2 billion of that is spent and invested in by, you know, black women. Yet, when I was watching television last night, I said to my husband, I'm going to give this talk tomorrow. He said, again? I said, yeah. Don't stop talking. Girl, just don't stop talking. And I thought, actually, if I look on the screen, I said, why can't I just turn the television on and just see a product for my hair? Is that a crime? Brands, does any of you here work in beauty? Please, put your hand up, don't be scared. I know that some of you do. You're just being quiet right about now. But do you know what would happen if you just put one ad on the screen for black and Asian hair? Because actually, I don't know about you, actually, some of those products on the market, which are on television every day, like Dove, sorry, that's not going to work for me. It's not going to work in my hair, unfortunately. It won't do anything. So what about that? What about if I look onto the screen and just see a food product that I might buy? A cultural brand. Is that a crime? Is it a crime? Please respond to me. Am I frightening you? That's not, because that's not the goal. That's not the goal. I just want to show, I'm just having this conversation to show you the cost of not having inclusivity at the table. Different people to share different things with you. And I know today I'm talking about the cultural experience. People are here today with different backgrounds to talk to you about sexuality, religion, all the other things. I just want to talk to you about the area that I have expertise, okay? So if I think about beauty, look at how much Fenty made. Isn't that amazing? Because again, does anybody in here use Fenty? You wearing it right now? You're looking good, girl. You're looking good. You know. So at the end of it, look how much money they're making. And actually, at the end of the day, and ultimately, for a business, you need to generate cash, right, to survive and to stay relevant. Would you agree? By show of hands, come on. We know this, don't we? So, isn't it really important to engage with people? Isn't it important? Would you like it if you looked on this? Actually, okay, imagine reverse. You wake up tomorrow morning and everybody on the television is black. What are you going to say? Really, what are you going to do? What will happen? It will just seem like, what? And it was like this for a whole year. What would you do? What would you do? I think there'd be riots. But I just wanted to share with you just some values of the markets. And here we go. So I call it the multicultural pound because I'm not too sure, because there's not many people. I don't like this word BAME. Even saying it feels like a swear word to me. Yeah, and I don't really swear, okay? But I'm swearing right now when I say BAME. Because we are multicultural. All of us in this room. Has anybody done Ancestry.com? We are all interconnected. You know, we are multicultural. The BAME reference is not the greatest reference. Anyone who represents and falls into that category. Do you like the word BAME? Do you? Do you? See, I can answer for you people. My research is really good because there's not many here. But, you know, so therefore, my whole thing is this year, it's all about raising awareness around language, because language is absolutely key. Would you not say? Really important. So, multicultural pound, this is globally 3.4 trillion. And then if you look at the purple pound, does everybody know what the purple pound is? That's the disability pound. So people from, okay, so that's 8 trillion globally. Pink pound, do you know what the pink pound is? Yeah, the pink pound, or it's called the Dorothy dollar in America, is 3.7 trillion, okay? And then there's, well, it can be called the grey pound, but I like silver, you know. Do you like it being called silver? You do, don't you? Yeah. Well, okay. I'm trying to be inclusive here. Okay, so here we have 15 trillion, okay? That's a lot of money again. So if you think about the audiences, you really benefit from having that conversation. Can you imagine? It's not just about having a focus group, but can you imagine just reaching out and just saying, you know, you are really valuable. I would love to find out, what are you interested in? You know, what do you want? Isn't that what brands want? Is that true? Would a brand like that? To get into the mind of your audiences and understand what your needs are. I think that's really important. Speak to us, speak to your audience. Ask them what they need. Don't make assumptions and make mistakes and have everybody writing about you on Twitter and getting gassed out on Twitter. Isn't that the worst? No brand wants that. We just want you to speak to us. We just want to have a conversation with you. I just want to get into my mind, to know what motivates me and drives me. That's all. All I want to do is walk on television and say, oh my God, not walk on television, but, you know, turn the TV on and say, okay, you know what? That person's speaking to me. That's amazing. I grew up in a multicultural environment. I'm fine with that. I'm actually okay to walk in a room if I'm, you know, not the majority. I'm confident with that, but not everybody is. Did you know that 97% of CEOs in our industry are Caucasian? Yeah. So that means there's 3% left. Oh dear. We've got to do something, guys. Will you help me? Because I want to do more research, and I want to do more research to look into the multicultural pound. I want to work with agencies more. I want to have a conversation with you. You can see I'm not really frightening that, really. You know, I'm not. You know, I really care about this. And ultimately, you are going to make more money, because look at all the markets that maybe you're tapping into some of them, but you could be doing it a lot stronger, and, you know, you could be doing it a lot better. Would you agree? Yes. Do you feel like I've bashed you over the head? No. Good. Well, I'm going to finish here, and I hope that you've got some questions for me.